Once upon a time, in a dense forest nestled deep within the mountains, there stood a rickety old cabin. It was said that the cabin had been abandoned for years, and those who had dared to venture inside had never returned. One day, a group of curious hikers decided to explore the cabin, despite the warnings of the locals. As they approached the cabin, they noticed that the air around them grew colder, and the trees seemed to close in around them. Upon entering the cabin, they were immediately met with a musty odor and a feeling of unease. The wooden floors creaked beneath their feet, and the rustling of unseen animals could be heard from behind the walls. As they explored the first floor, they noticed strange markings etched into the walls and floors, symbols that they couldn't recognize, and which seemed to glow faintly in the dim light of their flashlights. Deciding to press on, they made their way to the second floor. It was there that they found a room that was unlike any other. The walls were lined with mirrors, and the ceiling was adorned with strange symbols that seemed to be carved into the wood. Suddenly, they heard a faint whisper, and the mirrors began to shake violently. They turned to leave, but the door had disappeared, and the symbols on the ceiling seemed to glow brighter and brighter. As the group huddled together, they heard a low growl emanating from the darkness beyond the mirrors. Slowly, a figure began to materialize, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. The hikers tried to flee, but the figure moved with an unnatural speed, blocking their way. It was then that they realized they were not alone in the cabin. The figure let out an unearthly scream, and the mirrors shattered into 1,000,000 pieces. The group stumbled back, trying to escape the cabin as it began to shake and convulse. As they burst through the door, they saw the cabin begin to collapse in on itself, the figure still screaming and thrashing inside. They ran, tripping and stumbling over the uneven ground as they fled the forest. Years later, the hikers would still talk about the cabin in the woods. Some said it was cursed, while others believed it was haunted by the spirits of those who had died there. But none could deny the terror they had felt within its walls, and the fear that still lingered long after they had left the forest.